It's been a minute, but today the message is proper ventilation is required. I was looking at a couple of things on Facebook. Some people was talking about, oh, I need somebody to vent to, and I also seen some where some people were saying that, the strong friend out of the bunch, what I'm saying, who does that person vent to? And so I put under the comments, they can have a spiritual mentor, they can have a big brother or sister in Christ, you know what I'm saying? So you need somebody like that. Like I have people that I, talk to or whatever like that. They give me sound counsel. And sometimes it's just somebody to talk to, you know what I'm saying? So, but why is proper ventilation important? Okay. So this is a definition I found online. So we're just talking about regular ventilation of a building. But I'm going to tie it spiritually so you can see it. So pollutants in your home air can cause poor indoor air quality, which in turn may cause dizziness, headaches, plus aggravate allergies and asthma. Ventilation systems that help remove contaminants by exchanging stale, recirculated indoor air with fresh, filtered outside air. So the definition of ventilation, the provision of fresh air to a room or a building, right? So if we look at Matthew 17:1, if you read all the way down to verse 13, we remember there were 12 disciples, right? So in this instance, it says, now after 6 days, Jesus took Peter, James, and John, his brother, led them up on the mountain by themselves. So mind you, he didn't take the 12 disciples. Jesus went up there to vent. So if you read all the way down to verse 13, you would see. But verse 9, it says, now as they came down the mountain, Jesus commanded them, saying, tell the vision to no one. So, when you vent to somebody, you don't want them to be talking to nobody and telling them all your business. Oh, well, girl, guess what so-and-so said, or guess what they said, put it on Facebook. 1 Corinthians 15:33, do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. Psalms 1:1, blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the ungodly. What is counsel? Counsel is advice. So 1 Corinthians 3:16, it says, God, we're God's temple. Temple is a building. So what we need to do is we need to talk to some people that have, that we can vent to, because if you don't vent, we know what happened. A person can break down, have a mental breakdown, stress or anything like that. And that also can happen getting, venting to the wrong person, because if you think something has proper ventilation but it's not going anywhere, it's just being recirculated, and at some point you do break down. So we need to make sure that who we have some people that we can vent to. Again, there were 12 disciples, but he only took 3 of them up to pray, and up to vent to, and he had to do some things. So we got to be careful with who we take, because there are certain people that we have different levels of relationships. Okay, we might be somebody that can hang with, kick it or whatever, but that's not somebody I can vent to. You got to be careful. So there's different levels of common sense, and we got to be careful with who we listening to, because we got to see if that person is good for us or not. That's why you can tell if somebody says, you come to that person, they want to throw that stuff back up in your face, and you find out like, dang, I thought you was a person I can vent to. Nope, that's not one. So you got to get rid of them. They can't be, you can't vent to that person anymore. Now y'all still may be able to be just friends on a certain level, but they won't be able to vent to you. So that's when you find out, there's people that you can vent to or anything like that. And you don't want to have a lot of people you can vent to, 3 is kind of okay if you have a couple of friends. Again, if you have a spiritual mentor or anything like that, but somebody that listen to you and give you proper, some sound advice. And so I do have some people that vent to me. A lot of people vent to me all the time, via email, via YouTube, Facebook, whatever. I just keep it to God and, give them some sound advice, and they be like, man, I didn't look at it that way. And a lot of times, all I do is just change their perspective. That's it, because your perspective can cause you happiness, or it can cause you, frustration or whatever like that. So you need somebody that can see. So I just want to say that. So proper ventilation is required. So you do need to make sure that you talk to somebody properly. Talk to somebody that can advise you or anything like that, so you can understand that that's needed. Because a lot of things hold in. It's funny, seeing it's like 420. That's what people do, they vent with what they smoke with, because, all that stuff is like, I need to smoke. because of the ventilation, you know what I'm saying? So it's just funny, you know what I'm saying? But never judging anybody, but that's just what they, you know what I'm saying, chose to use the ventilation. But, you know what I'm saying? If you talk to somebody to give you some sound advice, that'll give you the proper ventilation. So we just want to say that. So love everybody. God bless. You know what I'm saying? Even the people that, people that don't like you, just tell God, just tell them bless you. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Keep it moving. No drama. 2018.